Hello everyone, today we will talk about round number 4 or Shanghai Grand Prix, and this is the first game which I have played there. I'm playing white and playing the English opening, which is slowly transferring to Catalan, I think. So the idea that I'm conquering the center, opponent doesn't want to fight for this immediately. I'm developing my light squared bishop to g2 for putting pressure on the queen side, and I'm castling the first. Opponent is actually capturing the pawn on c4, which made my life much easier. I'm putting a4 for stopping the idea of b5, and opponent is going bishop e6, which is a mistake in my mind. Actually, immediately I could go knight g5, I think. I'm going knight c3, fighting for the center and conquering the center with pushing pawn to e4. After black exchanged knights, I have the strong center and nice b5, which is actually was quite important in this game. Opponent, of course, saving the king, but for me it's a simple plan how to develop. I'm conquering the b file, attacking the pawn, which is actually pinning his queen to this pawn. Also the attacking bishop, which is climbs, is staying on e6. So I'm threatening to capture it and capture b7. Bishop attacks my queen, which made actually my center stronger after f3. Here I must push e5 because I need to get the extra space on e4, and after exchange my knight goes to e4. It makes it so nice because after knight c5 and knight d6 it must be better, but I made a mistake. I moved my queen to e2. Anyway, I have a strong center, which is obviously wanna go a bit ahead, wanna go to the last rank. Black trying to exchange some central pawns, but it's not that situation when they can do it because their queen side totally stacked. I finally can take pawn on c4 back. Capturing on c6, it also was a mistake. Actually, I should push pawns immediately without losing such dangerous bishop, but still it's looking not so bad for me because my pawns are freely going to the 6th rank. Also, I'm developing the bishop with the tempo. I'm sure that it's simply to see the dominating of white pieces in this position. So opponent a bit stuck with the queen because it's not easy to find safe squares for the opponent. So queen b5, it's also not the strongest move. I think immediately e7 or maybe somehow d6 was much better. So here I already have to create because I missed a bit move g5. Maybe it's not such good, but here must be e7 and rook e1, which is threatening to promote the queen. But it was so important to find the answer after queen blocks pawn queen e8, so I must go bishop d6 for attacking my pawn. So bishop d2 is also okay, but it's actually losing a lot of initiative because bishop is simply staying behind. I'm also losing so important pawn on e7. Yeah, I'm taking the b pawn after this, but who can compare the b pawn and pawn on e7, which wanna be a queen? Here we already have not so much time. You can see it on the 3D board. We're trying to play faster, and it was a lot of blunders from both of sides. I'm going to the 7th rank, threatening to the bishop, threatening to the pawn. He is protecting the bishop, and actually I think I could capture the bishop simply and after capture rook, so don't look at this game so strict, because you can see our timing. Here I'm offering exchange, and actually it wasn't such bad for black. They just can block with the bishop, but it's finished nice for me. The next game, the game number 3, I'm playing white, the same developing knight to f3, offering to capture my pawn. The opponent doesn't want, making move knight c6, and I think the opponent actually misunderstood this opening, and he tried to play something like Scandinavian, because his queen goes to a5. But it's not working here. I'm conquering the center. I have the great development. Yeah, he is attacking e4 square now. I cannot push pawn to e4. That's why I'm going bishop d2 for unpinning my knight. Now I freely can go e4. That's what I'm doing. And look at the center. I totally conquered it. So opponent making a huge blunder, developing the bishop, and here after a long time of thinking I found the move knight d5, which is actually attacking the queen, and queen doesn't have extra space. I'm exchanging bishop for getting rid of one of the protector of the knight, and look at the knight at b4, it's totally stuck. There is a pin on the queen, I'm putting pressure on the pin piece, and one more mistake, why he captured pawn on e4, I have no idea. After bishop before I'm winning queen, and of course opponent give up. He also tried to make a move with the queen, but it's a double attack, and in a few seconds, yeah, he's giving up. The next game I'm playing black, it's already round number 6. I'm just playing some opening, let's say like this. I've tried to play some opening, but it's actually, I don't think it has some names, because I just simply developing my pieces. I think it's a thing of the white, because white is not pretending to conquer some space, not pretending to attack something. I'm getting quite solid position after h3. Bishop also is staying okay. On h5 I can move it to g6 in future maybe. So here I was happy, because a simple development for myself. Look at the pawn at b3, and it's obvious idea to develop bishop on b2, but I don't know what the threats. I already developed pieces trying to attack the center maybe with c5 in future, but he started to attack first, pushing pawn to c4. Still I'm playing passively here, putting pawn to c6, trying to attack his queen side. He tried to close position with c5. Of course I'm not blundering the bishop, and trying to open more files with b6. I don't think there is a game for me on the queen side. A lot of white pieces are looking to the center, but queen side is quite empty for white. b4 for me it's like a mistake, because I can open files and I can put pressure on them, and dc was a blunder, because I can conquer so important central square on e5. Knight e4 was played so fast, and it was a surprise for me, because maybe opponent just blundered an intermediate move, but he's confidently playing, which made me a bit confused. I'm capturing one more piece, so which made me one piece up. But again, opponent trying to play super fast. I'm exchanging bishops and also capturing one more pawn at b4, which made me has a clean extra piece. So now white must protect the rook. I'm going to attacking one more pawn, and white actually didn't care so much. Again, they're playing super fast. Maybe it's a strategy, I have no idea. Because, well, in my mind, if you have less pieces, try to create something, not just make moves, and try not to move some extra piece and not lose some extra pieces. So here I already have an extra pawn and an extra piece, so developing the rook. Don't think there is something dangerous for me. Opponent trying to put pressure on the c pawn. It's protected twice, and in case I need it, I made a little escape for the king after h6. White is trying to push c6 pawn again. I'm okay with exchange, as I have a lot of pieces up. After a lot of takes on c6, yeah, I'm losing c6 pawn, but I think I'm taking more important pawn, which is pawn on f2. Because after queen takes and we are exchanging knights and queens, after rook b1, the king must run away, and I'm taking pawn f2, which is super important for the king side. Brave white king is going out, but again, it's not dangerous for me because the bishop, the knight can escape, attack the opponent. It's not a problem, knight is still protected, and I have a nice target for attacking the g pawn. I think it must run away, but opponent still trying to attack my pieces. So for example, here king goes to e5, attacking the pawn. Of course I can protect it, but I think it's okay to exchange weak pawn on d file to the important pawn on the g file. Now white has two weak pawns which cannot be supported by each other. Attacking h3. Opponent even not attacking my f pawn, so I'm just simply taking the pawn. And now f pawn is in danger, yep, but I can protect, and my plan is super simple. Just push h pawn forward. King is totally safe. I don't know why opponent is quite stubborn here, because one by one I'm eating all of his pawns, all of his pieces. He's still trying to make checks. I don't know what for, because totally no reason, no chances. Even if I'm blundering the rook here, I don't know. I don't think it's winning for white. Maybe it will be a draw. So pushing king away to the c file. King is cutted, making an extra move with the king. Don't know why, actually rook d4 was better. Another double attack and capturing pawn, the last white pawn. But here plan is simple, just push an h pawn. The king can't stop it, and the rook of course can try to make some troubles, but again, white pieces are getting less, and after capturing z pawn on e5, opponent still was fighting. That's quite something, and after offering rook to exchange, opponent give up. Thanks for watching, see you next videos, bye bye!